I'm back. Again. This time with another Rocky. Thanks to Reaper, I have a whole mess of these. That being, I bought the Rocky box when I saw it online. It's currently sold out, but they still have a bunch of Rocky figures if you ever want one. And I am on a quest to make these things freaking adorable. Today I'm going to be working on the Sneaky Rocky from Reaper's Miniatures. We can see the base and the wings are connected to ensure that they don't get damaged in shipping. As you can see, he is in a crouching position, very much about to sneak up. I guess that's the name. Sneaky, 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 sneaky. This time I wanted a pink dragon baby. Why? I don't know. I just want to paint a cute pink dragon. Generally when I paint, I don't mix up colors for a couple of reasons. Most of that being that the mixed color will dry on the palette too quickly, and then I will go to remix the color and I'll mix it too dark, and in the end it'll look completely different, and then you get two different shades, and then it's a mess. I usually try to take a look at the colors while I am putting them on the palette to make sure I am getting the right ratio to replicate the color later if needed, but that doesn't always work. Now they do offer what's called a wet palette for these types of occasions, but I'm also really cheap, which is why I always use a glass pane instead of a proper palette. But you end up spending more money with palette paper with wet palettes, and it just tends to get kind of messy and sometimes even moldy if you don't take care of it. So that's a thing to think about. I may or may not have started to lose my mind. So here we are. Same story, different figure. I'm working on the colors back and forth until I get a good blend between the highlights and the flat tone on the figure. Alright, quit it. We're serious here. And guess who forgot to paint the wings? It was me. I quickly worked them back up to the level that I was painting with the main figure, and I went back with painting the shadow gradient on everything. Saved it. So, not sure if this is a question anyone really has, but I usually will attempt to make all of my shading as smooth as possible, rather than going with a cartoony or cel-shaded approach. That is purely my choice and aesthetic, unless it's incredibly, very unequivocally my choice in design with it. With these, it's not so much because they are so round and they don't really have any harsh angles that I think that cel shading would be more beneficial for. So that is why for all of these you will probably only ever see me do a gradient shading on them. Alright, that's enough of that. Now we're just gonna get stronger highlights on the tips of the horns and the scales. Alright, here's the good part. I have given this Rocky beans as well, because I can. But also, I like to imagine that dragons are a lot like cats, where they have toe beans. They do not like you touching because you are not worthy. Anybody asked about these either, but I keep giving these Rockies beans. And, I just want to. There's no real reason. If I find any, like, cat figures, they will also get beans. Any dog figures will also get beans. Pretty much, if I can find a reason to put beans on these figures, there is going to be beans on these figures. Just so you know. But we'll revisit that in a second or two. I wanted a lighter color on the belly and the underside of the mouth as a point of interest, even though you don't really see too much of the belly scales. But it makes me feel like it's a whole nother level of completeness with the figure. And then I decided I wanted cute sparkle peats, despite the fact you'll never see them. I know they're there, though. I also decided to pull some scales with the metallic paint. If you don't know by now, I have a thing with putting metallic paint on almost all my figures. Speaking of, I'm painting the base pure black, and I do that because the other thing I like to do is the FolkArt ColorShift paint. I just love the shiver it has, and the duochrome-like shift in the paint makes me feel good. I mean, it puts the emphasis on figure that most others don't really have, and that color shift just makes it more beautiful. Or, you know, imposing. One of those. and in the end we get a lovely rose gold Sneaky Rocky. I personally like the golden accent on the scales and how it shimmers in the light. But of course, you should tell me how you feel about it, because I want to know. Tell me. Tell me now. I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, if there's anything you'd like to see from me or any particular thing done, let me know in a comment. Thanks guys, and I'll be back eventually. Bye.
Azul! Azul! Azul!
Jesus, no, don't go up there.
Beep, 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 beep. I'm touching your beans. 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 Beans.
Leave his beans alone.
No, he deserves this.
Oh, yes, but...
Sausage!
Okay, the sausage looks this.